Okay, senior seminar students, here's your first little mini assignment for Dreamweaver. The idea about this assignment is just to have a little fun with writing and also just figuring out a little bit more about how to use Dreamweaver. So I want you to do is just imagine for a moment a future fantasy. Imagine that you were selected for the BWL, the Board and Water and Light internship, and they hired you on for a full-time position after you graduated in June. Now pretend it's next September, so you've been working there at least a few months now. So just start by writing a little bit of about at least one paragraph for each of these two bullets. The first bullet is just to talk about what you can imagine your job would be like at the Board and Water Light. Just as an example of things you might talk about. Are you in an office or are you working outdoors? I think if you remember the speaker said there's just tons and tons of jobs at BWL. You could be working as an accountant, you could be working in IT doing troubleshooting for computers, you might be working on electricity and electrical lines. So are you working with power or are you working with water? Because those are the two main things. And how much are you making per hour? I think if you remember the meter reader, I think his name was David who came in, he was making I think $22 an hour. What's your daily schedule like? Are you working morning shifts, afternoons? So this is just to have a little fun and just imagine that. And the second paragraph is to write about what's your life like outside of work. Where do you live? Are you in an apartment? Are you living with other friends? You live in at home? What are you doing with your free time? So what are some hobbies? Maybe you're going to go to class, you're going to school as well as working. And then put together a very simple but a realistic and accurate monthly budget. And I want you to include at least 4 pictures of different items that are on your budget. So just things like, how much are you making per hour, and then figure out about how much you are per month. And then if you're renting an apartment, how much does that cost? And if you buy a car, how much is that? What's your monthly payment? So it's just an opportunity to use the internet, do a little research, go to real places, find out how much the apartments are in Lansing, and if you want to buy a used car. And then pick at least 4 things like the car that you're going to buy, try to see if find an actual picture of that car and put it on your web page. So I'm going to show you a little bit how to do some of those things. I'm going to start with File, New, Basic Page, Create a Page. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this page before I get started. So File, Save. I'm going to put it inside Senior Seminar. I'm going to make a new folder just for this assignment because I'm going to have pictures inside of it. So I already did that. I call it Future Fantasy. So you can click right here, make that folder. And then I'm going to go inside that and I'm going to call this just my main page. You can call it whatever you want, really, it doesn't matter. So now you notice in Dreamweaver over here, now your Future Fantasy folder should show up. And then there's the main page, HTML. Now the first step you should get in the habit of is give your web page a title. So I'm going to call it My Future at the BWL. And then I'm going to write a couple paragraphs, all right? Paragraph 1, dot, dot, dot. Paragraph 2, dot, dot, dot. And while you write these, just to experiment with the property inspector, I want you to learn a little bit how to do this. Like, how do you make something bold? There's the bold. What if I wanted centered something? I could center it here, or go back to left. Italicize. What if I wanted a bit of color on some of my words to really make them stand out? That's right here. Making bullets. That's right here. Changing the font, because nobody likes that basic font. So here's your different fonts you have. I always like Verdana. So just do a little writing. Think about the 2 different topics. What's the job look like, and what does your life look like outside the job? And then as you write, though, do some formatting. Learn the software a little bit. And then you're going to get to the last part, your monthly budget. And for this, I'd like you to at least use a table, so you learn how to use tables. So here in Dreamweaver, you have this little icon right here under your common. You've got different things. You got layout view, you have text view. So normally you're in common view, and that gives you a table. So you can make a table when you want to make it. Let's say I'm going to start mine with like 7 rows, 3 columns. Excuse me. And how big do you want? How wide do you want it to be? I'm going to choose 80%. So it's not going to take up my entire page, but it's going to take up a big part of it. I'm going to say okay. And now I'm going to make this a little bit nice. For my heading, I'm going to put a background color. So right here, you can go background for the cell. I'll put like a little gray. And then for the table itself, I'm going to choose Verdana. So I select it all ahead of time. It's kind of nice. And then for these guys, I'm going to make it bold. And what you want to hear has your, like here can be your item. The next one can be your incoming, cash, and then outgoing, cash. And it looked like it ignored my font choice. Dang it. I'll put it back in now that I typed Verdana. And I'm going to make those bold. There. And then you can tweak the spaces, you know, how much you get. Boom. So like for the first item is your job itself, like BWL job. How much are you making per hour? So you figure out how much money you're going to get per month. So this is your monthly budget. Boom, boom. And then I'm going to make my table center too. If you click on the edge of the table, right up at the corner, not right there, not there, there. If you click on the corner of it, then you can come over to center. I missed it. If you make a mistake, you type Control Z. I think actually if you can click, I still missed it. Maybe highlight the whole thing. I think you gotta click the corner of it. Jeez, oh pizza. Align, centered. There, finally. Okay, it took me a while, so I had to click on like the edge of this table, come over to align to get it to go in the middle. And then list different things that you're gonna buy, like car, apartment, groceries. You know, you're gonna just estimate about that, but how much you're gonna spend. And then maybe eating out, that might be a different category than groceries. And if you want to add more rows, press tab. If you keep pressing tab, that's what I'm doing, it just keeps adding more rows. What else is there? Oh, I know, cell phone. That's a big one, you know. People don't even think about that. That costs you every single month, whatever plan you're on. So just, you can add more if you'd like, whatever you think of, most realistic, just having fun with it. But at least 4 of these, I want you to find pictures to actually represent it. So for car, that's an easy one. If you go out to cars.com, whoop, here I am, and you can put in like what kind of car you want, what's your maximum price, that kind of stuff, and then it will search cars for you. So it's a nice way to find like get you at least started on what kind of cars you can get, and then pick one. I'm gonna just pick this one for heck, and then I want you to do is save at least one picture of your car. So to save a picture, you right click it, save image, and I'm going to put it, I already saved it here ahead of time, but I'm going to put it right inside my senior seminar, inside my future fantasy. See, I already have a car pick. I'll put a car pick 2. So I can save that picture. And then when you come back over to Dreamweaver, you can actually go into your folder, and then that picture should show up. If you don't see it, sometimes you have to hit refresh. Sometimes, if it's, see, there's car pick 2. If the file's open when you save the picture, it won't always show up right away. So that little guy right there is refresh. Whoop, and it'll refresh it. Now you can see car pick 2. So I'm going to just drag it and drop it out, and you can just say okay. And then I'll picture my car, and then you could resize it a little bit if you wanted to make it a little bit smaller. So finding at least 4 different pictures of your car, your apartment, maybe you know what grocery store you like to shop at, whatever you like to think of. But I just want you to get practice with getting pictures and putting them on. So that's like a quick little workup, mock-up. Have some fun with it. You can take a couple days, especially if you start to get serious about your research, finding actual cars, apartments, that kind of stuff, thinking about that budget. And hopefully, I hope a lot of you are actually thinking about filling out the application and trying, and I think that's going to be a big assignment for us that we can do that during this class. So if you have any questions, let me know. Have some fun with it, and just experiment and play around with Dreamweaver and start to get comfortable with it.